Hey guys, welcome to the Tuff Puff. This is Daniel speaking. Today is Tuesday because PTCGO had a random update yesterday, so I wasn't able to record the Monday video. But today is Tuesday, so I will be doing standard format. And in preparation for Nationals, I wanted to show you guys a pretty sick list that I got off the Charizard Lounge. This list is completely Andrew Wamble and Andrew Mahone's list. And it's pretty sick. It's a version of Night March that kind of has an answer to Greninja, and it's a little bit better versus Trevenant. I feel, it like pretty much guaranteed beats Wailord too, which has been like something Night March players have been thinking about, I guess, ever since I posted my Wailord list. So this pretty much has an answer to a couple extra decks than just regular Night March, while still giving up its Giratina matchup. Um, but you could fix that probably by running, by like maybe dropping the three unknowns and dropping one Lysander. And then with those four slots, you could put in like two Eviltall EX, two Dark Energy, and then maybe just find a slot for a third Dark Energy, and then you could probably get through the Giratina matchup, or even just drop two unknown for a Marowak and a Maxi. That doesn't seem too difficult to pull off. Now, this list was played by Andrew Wamble to a top 8 finish at the Origins Winnership Tournament, which is essentially a state championship that no one knew about. Um, he ended up facing Trevenant, of all things, in top 8 to lose, and I mean, I don't blame him for not being able to win that, because I mean it is a Night March kind of variant, and Trevenant does just completely destroy that. Even without the item lock, just the burst balloons and one Silent Fear can be annoying. So um I mean it's kind of proven that the deck is pretty good. One thing about the deck that really needs to be pointed out is the 0 Dimension Valley. This is because we are attacking with Joltik or Vespiquen for the entire game. Now, um, we only have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 supporter cards, and 4 VS Seeker, meaning that the rest of our items are pretty much just gonna be used to burn through our deck and get back the cards we need and to disrupt our opponent just a little bit. We have Parallel City to discard our bench down or to make Greninja hit 20 less if need be. So, we have it pretty much locked and loaded for every matchup. Um, and we are ready to go play a game. So I'll meet you guys in a game. Oh, hey guys. So we're still looking for an opponent. Um, but I wanted to point out that on the ladder, if you just saw down there, is a 1-1 Metacham line, I believe. So if you guys don't own Metachams and you want to build Franco's uh, Metacham Regirock EX deck, get that Metacham. Um, yeah, I do want to go first so I can evolve my combis. This is a pretty solid hand. It's pretty manageable. Like play the compressor, play the N, uh, play the compressor, play Ultra Ball if I get one, and then set up. Like I have a couple options here, so that's cool. All right. Oh, looks like I'm playing against the same exact thing. Go figure, dude. That's kind of funny. That actually kind of sucks also, because now that means that this Joltik's going to be able to get a turn 1 KO. But I'm going to have to end up playing the N here. Uh, I could have compressored away teammates. Uh, there just wasn't really much of a need. Because I'd rather have the Night Marchers in my discard. Next turn I can puzzle the time, get back compressor and N, and just go for a knockout here if I get a DCE. I really want to avoid playing a Shaman. Yeah, I'm literally playing against the same deck. That's funny. So my opponent had to play down a Shaman, which means that now I have a target to kind of make up for going first. If he gets a knockout here, I get 2 prizes. So like it's like I catch up. All right, here his list is a little different. He does run Trainer's Mail. That's one thing about Andrew Wambolt's list. It's pretty heavy on variants. Um, where he plays 26 Pokemon, 3 of them being unknown, 3 of them being Shaman. The other 20 are Pokemon that pretty much won't do you any good as far as consistency. And then every other card is, we have 4 DCE, uh, Megaphone, 2 Escape Rope, and the Town Map, 4 Puzzle at Time. So we have like, I guess 4 Ultra Ball, 4 Battle Compressor, and 4 Sycamore, and a Teammates, and that's pretty much the only way we can ever go through our deck. So my opponent attached an energy to the benched combi. So I guess he doesn't want to get a knockout this turn. He doesn't even have a Night Marcher. I'm going to play Escape Rope to either knock out the Shaman or the energy on his field. And the cool thing is, I can knock out either of them with just the 3 Lampents in my discard. So I don't have to worry too much about my... I don't have to worry too much about using my puzzles of time to get more Night Marchers in my discard now. So I think best case scenario here, I hit like Ultra Ball, Sycamore, or something like that. Another puzzle and a Combi. That's not bad. It's not horrible. Alright. Our opponent evolves. So now we're going to get an extra target out of this. We're going to get the Puzzle of Time for DCE and Compressor. And, I mean, it's really lucky, I think, that we hit this Puzzle of Time here. Because now, now we can hopefully be able to use a second pair of Puzzle of Time later on in the game, assuming I didn't prize 2. My opponent discarding a bunch of stuff. He also plays basic energy, so I mean, that's a way to get around. That's a way to get around Giratina. Like, I'm just gonna assume that my opponent also got his deck from the Charizard Lounge. Andrew Wambolt has been putting a lot of work into that site. All of its content is free, and it's pretty sick. So yeah, it really wouldn't surprise me if my opponent did end up getting his build from the Charizard Lounge. It's kind of risky here not grabbing the N because yeah, it's a supporter, but Battle Compressor kind of burns through my deck the same way N would. If that makes sense. So I'm gonna Compressor away a Vespiquen, a Night Marcher. And I'm going to get rid of a Sycamore so that I have, instead of 4 outs, I now have 8 outs, or 7 outs to drawing a nice little supporters. 4, 5, Vespiquen, bench combi, and I'll get a knockout with Night March. Cool. So, I benched the combi. Normally I wouldn't have, if I wasn't drawing a prize, because that would have left my hand at 2. So if I top decked Ultra Ball, I'd have to discard the Puzzle of Time with it, as well as the Pumpkaboo. But now that I am drawing a prize, I'm free to just bench the combi, because now I could just discard whatever I draw in the Pumpkaboo for Ultra Ball, and keep the Puzzle of Time. And worst case scenario, I draw into a second Puzzle of Time, and at that point I don't even really need the Ultra Ball. I could just get back DCE and in compressor, and then I have myself set up for a turn, so I could just use my prize or my top deck and my Pumpkaboo for Ultra Ball next turn for Shaman, unless my opponent had like a sneaky Hex, but I don't think my opponent's in a position to Hex really um, for next turn, because if I get this knockout on this Joltik, which pretty much I will, um, he'll be behind. But anyways, yeah, what I'm saying is I'm just explaining pretty much why I benched the combi in case that was going through anyone's head. Alright. Yeah, I'll discard the VS Seeker. I don't really need it. Like, I still have all my supporters in my deck pretty much. And 3 more VS Seekers, so it's not too big a worry. So we want DCE here, or we want Puzzle of Time, but I'd rather get the DCE to Sky Return, put Shaman back in my hand so he's not a target. Get rid of a Pumpkaboo, a Vespiquen, and why not another Pumpkaboo? Come on. So I'm going to go for these farewell letters here, because I really don't want to bench a second Shaman. I mean, I hit one, so I don't really, if I end up not having a choice, that's whatever, but, okay. I did not play a supporter. Oh, I should have discarded teammates. Whatevs. So if I get the knockout and play N, my opponent can't play Sycamore and Lysander in the same turn. So he needs to have a Shaman off an N to 4. But his deck's pretty thin, so I wouldn't put it past him to get one. And he's only played 1 Ultra Ball. I can't pass for the turn. That's not an option. So I have to burn through my deck somehow. I think I have no choice but to play the second Shaman, pretty much. Which kind of sucks. But that's fine if my opponent knocks out 1 Shaman, as long as I can keep spamming attackers, because I'm in the prize lead. Jeez, dude. Alright, now we finally hit the compressor for the teammates here. Discard another compressor. Oh, dude, I have parallel. I forgot. That's awesome. So I don't even have to worry anymore. Just VS Seeker for teammates. Grab my double Carless. And grab Parallel to get rid of both my Shamans. Yeah, so my opponent shouldn't really have much of a chance now. Like, he pretty much needs the, he pretty much needs a Counter Stadium, a Target Whistle, and a Lysander, and an Energy to be able to attack. So I'm not super worried about any of that. Let's be Revenge, and we're off. Another combi. And there's not much of an issue if if my opponent doesn't counter the stadium, because, well, he did anyways, but it wouldn't be too much of an issue because I'm gonna lose this Vespiquen, this turn most likely, and if I did, that means that I can a great ball. Wow, but that means that I can just obviously put the Shaman on the empty bench space. So I'm really not playing too risky here. This is pretty much just how the deck goes. Like, it's kind of it's not really like consistent, uh, because okay, well, to explain the difference between this deck and a Night March deck, a normal Night March deck, you play stage ones, you play 4 of them. So stage ones are notoriously harder, obviously, to set up than a basic. Now, um, with that being said, you also do play basics so that you can just attach a DCE and you're off swinging. Now, um, lastly, what makes this deck different is that it gives up Trainer's Mail, Acrobike, and the random one of items that the regular Night March build has. Alright, so we get a scoop in favor of of this 4/4 Vespiquen line and the 3 unknown to kind of make it a Vespiquen deck. Now, while that helps against Greninja, and while that helps against Water Toolbox, and while that helps against Trevenant for the most part, because you don't just get Silent Feared once and you lose, it's still, excuse me, it's still kind of scary because the inconsistency of the natural inconsistency that the deck has, having 20 Pokemon that don't do anything for you and are just dead cards that you could end up drawing into off of an end or something. The natural inconsistency of that is scary for a tournament like Nationals or just for regular play because you don't know what you're ever going to draw into. That's what I was talking about earlier about variance. So you're sacrificing like the consistencies that Night March has kind of built up and been provided with over multiple formats, and you're giving it a chance to deal with better matchups, assuming it draws into the right stuff. And with Greninja easily being able to recently end you down to 1, and then just destroy you while your hand is dead, I think this deck is kind of a scary play. But so I'll go into another game just because the mirror match is kind of annoying. So I'll meet you guys there. Alright guys, so we're back in it. Looks like we're facing a colorless and fairy deck. I can only assume this right off the bat to be a Sylveon EX deck, a M Gardevoir EX deck with Shamans, or a random PTCGO fairy deck that they used for that challenge that was last week or whatever, that apparently they still haven't gotten rid of. So let's see. Oh, Lugia. Prize 2 Lampins, so that's cool. What else did I prize? It was a Combi and a Shaman, a Vespiquen, and a Sycamore. Wow, and I just drew into a Lampin as well. Whew. This is what I mean. Like, my first draw was 3 Night Marchers, a town map, teammates, Vespiquen, Sycamore, and Escape Rope. That's not horrible. Now, my second draw was 2 more supporters, which is good, because I do need supporters, Compressor, 2 more Night Marchers, and a Megaphone. Now, imagine if that hand was mixed up a little bit, and I started with 3 Night Marchers, a Lampin, a Vespiquen, and a Megaphone. And then this Hex. That means I'm sitting here with like a pretty dead hand. And while I do get the Megaphone, which could be a good card, it's not good in this instance because I can't even get to play the game. So what if they get, their tools? They're gonna beat me anyways. An Altaria deck. Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure there's just gonna be an easy matchup. Okay, DCEs, nice. Alright, so my opponent just scoops. I'll go into one more game since this opponent didn't want to play this one out. Come on, man. This ladder thing is ridiculous, dude. Like, I mean, it's cool. Like, the whole ladder idea is cool. Just the execution is so annoying. I think PTCGO is a program that was built to make us rip our hair out. Because, like, I'm sitting here trying to get into another game, and I gotta watch the little yellow bar slowly go up the ladder. And then I think the most annoying thing about this program, or one of the most annoying things, is that your opponent, when your opponent chooses the coin flip, because in a normal Pokemon game, your opponent does not choose the coin flip, unless you are flipping it. But in this game, they flip their own coin and choose the coin flip, and then all it tells you is that, oh, they flipped it right, they win. Wow, so not only did I get a trash hand, but I'm facing Trevenant, and he got turn 1 Wally just like that. So, my only option for Lysander for next turn, assuming I drew into an Ultra Ball to grab Shaman, is a Wobbuffet, so I couldn't even use a Shaman. So what I need here is like a Battle Compressor. Wow, Trevenant with Acrobike. Looks like this is a consistent Trevenant build. I'm just gonna Lysander the Wob. Play Town Map. Okay. VS Seeker for the Lysander. Have no choice but to bench the Pumpkaboo, and then I'll end my turn. So this is going to be a tough game. If I were to win this, it would be because I was able to overcome a turn 1 Trevenant. So I think that'll be an interesting thing to show here. So glad we got this matchup as our last one for the day. Yeah, all he's doing is 10 damage, so we do get a second turn of items, if that even matters. And it does not matter, as we have to pass. Honestly, though, I don't mind this, because my opponent played down the Dimension Valley for me, so while this deck does not play Dimension Valley, we can still swing with our Pumpkaboo. And he's using Wob, and he didn't use Psychic Assault to knock out my Joltik, so that's cool. And now we get a Compressor, so we're officially in the game. I'd rather discard my Joltiks for this matchup. And a Sycamore. 2, 3. Hopefully I can kind of burn through my deck here, so that when I do get item locked again, it doesn't matter too much. Okay. So this is pretty solid. And we get another scoop from our opponent. So, that's the deck, guys. It's pretty good. It's fast, it's strong. When it does draw well, it's good. I don't think it's a safe play for the national championships because it is a 9-round tournament at the very least. 14 rounds if you make day 2 and you potentially make top 8. You'd have to win 11 games, getting 33 points, and then that is, I think, just the bubble. So, winning 11 games and tying 1 with a deck where the consistency is kind of questionable is not safe, but if you do end up playing this, you can go ahead and thank Andrew Wamble and Andrew Mahone for making such a sick deck. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you on Wednesday for Legacy. Oh, don't forget, obviously, to subscribe to the Tuff Puff, like, comment on this video. Let us know what decks you want me to play, because I've been telling people I'll play their decks if they send them in the email, and no one's sent in a deck yet. So come on, guys, send me decks. I want to play your stuff. Anyways, thanks again. I'll see ya.